Jade, queen of everything. A warframe of all-in-one. You can't decide what you want? Jade has it all. Enough shield recharge to always save your butt. Enough boom for your weapons and enough heat for your abilities. No enemies can run away from her judgment. Follow me around in this guide when I show you how to use Jade for level cap Void Cascade. First, I will give you a rundown for her abilities, then give you a quick overview of the focus core Bazarin, why it's a perfect match for Jade. After that, we will deep dive into the build options in addition to weapon builds and a trusty companion that follows us all the way to level cap. To know how to comfortably play Jade, we need to know what her abilities do. So let's start with a look into those. What is gonna stand out the most is that their passive grants an additional aura slot, one of which starts with an omnipolarity. This gives you a large boost of capacity for your builds. Included in her passive is the Judgment's debuff, which applies 50% damage vulnerability to marked enemies, lasting for 10 seconds. Light's Judgment is Jade's first ability. Jade throws a bloom in an arc in front of her, leaving a well of judgment on the floor. Stepping into the well will heal your allies for a percentage of their maximum health and marking your enemies. There can be 5 wells up at the same time. Creating new ones will remove older ones. Enemies that stepped into the Light's Judgment receive Jade's True Judgment. The ability extends Symphony of Mercy's duration by 2 seconds whenever an enemy is killed with a debuff active. This ability is nice because of its quick cast, allows to increase our damage against marked enemies, and helps maintain the buff of Symphony of Mercy. A second ability is called Symphony of Mercy, and it is separated into 3 buffs: Power of the Seven, Deathbringer, and Spirit of the Resilience. Power of the Seven is an ability strength buff. While active, you and your allies within affinity range have increased ability strength based on Jade's strength. The buff is capped at 150%, which can be achieved with a total of 600% ability strength. Depending on your playstyle, this would be your first ability to activate and can be enhanced by other strength ability buffing sources such as Nidus, Bright Bonnet, or Fissure buffs. Spirit of Resilience helps you to restore your shield while reducing your shield recharge delay. Both stats are based on your ability strength. Shield recharge delay is capped at -80%, which could be achieved with 800% ability strength if you can somehow achieve that. This ability does stack with shield recharge mods like Vigilant Vigor or Fast Deflection and allows you a comfortable shield tank or shield gate playstyle. Once again, the buff is affinity wide and you can see the buff icon in the top right. Deathbringer is the third buff and adds additive damage to weapons. Doesn't sound special in the first second till we look a bit further into it. It is a universal weapon damage buff, meaning that it affects all of your weapons, some warframe abilities, and even your operator amp. Because it is a universal weapon damage buff, it will apply twice for weapon types like glaives or Zors. So I will take advantage of this and will pair my Jade setup with a Falcor. Remember that you can extend your duration with the help of the first ability. This allows you to snapshot your current buff. Just keep in mind that cycling through the different buffs will reset the ability. Venom Eyes is Jade's third ability and surrounds her in the spotlight that she deserves. Enemies caught in the spotlight are too stunned to speak, being slowed and having their armor stripped over time. The ability is line of sight dependent and works in a cone in front of you. In case Torment spawns in front of you, you can hold the ability to cancel Venom Eyes to make sure you don't witness the slowest tidal surge wave ever. Jade's fourth ability is called Glory of High and gets an honorable mention here because we are a weapon platform build and will not use it. Hence, there's no need to explain it here. Instead, here's an in-depth explanation why we're using Nourish as subsume. Nourish is the Helmuth ability of Grendel. It applies viral elemental damage to your weapons, giving you a consistent source of this elemental type, allowing you to skip modding it onto your weapon. It also gives you an energy multiplier and increases all sorts of energy generation such as energy orbs, arcane energize, or energy nexus. This is a good all-around subsume if you don't rely on a specific Helmuth ability. If you or your allies are hit while affected by Nourish, a radial explosion of viral will be triggered. This is nice to know, but not that relevant for this build. What is relevant for us is our focus core. Remember that Jade can buff our amp. This makes the damage buff from Madarite less necessary to comfortably take out Thraxus at level cap. So we can use Vazarin instead, which will be our main source of defense and utility, Protective Sling. This is our way to stay alive and recharge our shield. Swapping into our operator and then void dashing our warframe or allies will grant the affected target 5 seconds of invulnerability. We can pair this with catalyzing shields for its 1.33 seconds of shield gate duration to give us time to to react and void dash ourselves. We also benefit from the Mending Unity passive, which gives us an additional 25 meters of Symphony of Mercy via the affinity range increase. For my whole operator loadout, we're using different mods to increase our damage. We're using Zed and Osborg. Whenever we avoid slaying an enemy, we're stripping the Overguard at the same time. We gain a 3-time amp critical damage buff. This arcane is easy to activate whenever an enemy with Overguard is around us. While we use Protective Sling or attacking Captured Axelizer, we're activating it. B-Class Safor. This mod increases our fire rate and ammo efficiency, a simple buff for our DPS and quality of life. Hayan Dabor. Multi-shot for the amp. Can we ask for more? Ubrika Nev. Base damage for your amp, which will be even more buff for each mod from a unique school. SD Vel Ikar. This one is more of a personal choice and definitely your flex slot. This mod increases maximum void sling distance, which is a great quality of life option for zipping around the map or to the next Axelizer. But if you hate getting knocked down in Operator, a great alternative would be Talsec An, where you gain knockdown immunity. To gain extra critical chance for your amp, we're using Omni Eevee. In addition, we gain critical damage for each Xenoric mod school. In our case, we're using one Xenoric mod, so 10% extra critical damage. For our Operator Arcane, I'm using Magus Lockdown, which helps to crowd control the enemies, especially Acolytes, and Magus Cloud, which increases our void sling radius to clear Axelizer faster. For our amp Arcanes, I'm using Eternal Onslaught. This increases our critical chance on energy depletion, and Eternal Eradicate for extra base damage on Operator ability use. My favorite amp is the 547, which consists of Cantic Prism, Bad Scaffold, and Certus Brace. If you prefer a different combination, run a different one. Now let's come to the most important part of our Warframe build. Because of Jade's passive, we have the luxury of running 2 aura mods. In our case, Growing Power for extra ability strength and Corrosive Projection to speed up the armor strip of Ophanim Eyes. Prime Continuity. This increases our duration, simply reducing the amount of times we have to recast our abilities. Catalyzing Shields, as already mentioned, allows us to shield gate in combination with Augur mods on our secondary and Protective Sling. To increase our ability strength, we run Umbral Intensify and Blind Rage. The negative efficiency of Blind Rage is not a problem because we use Equilibrium together with Nourish and have a sufficient drop rate of orbs due to Symph Deconstruct on our pad. Prime Flow gives us all the energy reserves we need to round out our energy economy and allows us to use purple critical damage shards. Archon Stretch is a simple increase in range for our abilities and provides extra energy regeneration, which we activate using our companion. Roiling Guard is simple here for our oopsies. For the Axelis slot, we are using Prime Sure-Footed because I like to stay on my feet instead of my butt. For Arcanes, we're using Mold Argumented for extra ability strength and Arcane Fury for even more melee base damage. Feel free to swap this out if you want to. Arcane Shards. Arcane Shards are a personal preference and none of these are a must. We're running 2 Tauforge Yellow Parker Velocity Shards to zoom faster through the map and 1 Tauforge Yellow Casting Speed Shard for a more comfortable casting. To increase our overall damage output of our glaive, we're using 2 Tauforge Purple Critical Damage Shards. What would be a weapon platform without their weapons? In our case, the Falcor. I decided to use a glaive, specifically the Falcor, because it double dips with Jade's Deathbringer buff. Falcor is the perfect melee influence glaive because every explosion has a Force Electric proc. This is a standard Falcor build. You can use this in all content despite of Jade. We're using double sack for a large boost in critical chance on glaive explosions. The more critical damage you have from sources like purple shards, the weaker galvanized steel becomes. This is why we're using double sacrificial mods. To help the Falcor out in single target situations, I'm using an Epitaph Prime Primer with secondary fortifier. We are building it with corrosive magnetic since we're getting viral from Nourish. Otherwise, this is a pretty standard priming setup, but we're using Augur mods for shield gating. What would be level cap without a trusty companion? In our case, we're choosing De Rieger. Why De Rieger, you're wondering? Because of the insane amount of priming in CC with the help of Arc Coil and Manifold Bond. This combo lets Arc Coil apply the status effects of all of the elements on our Sentinel's weapon. The innate electric also triggers Archon Stretch. Since this ability hits a bunch of enemies, Symph Deconstruct can generate a bunch of orbs for equilibrium. Burglar's Prime as our Sentinel's weapon has innate cold and benefits from Shivering Contagion to spread cold status. We're using Burglar's Prime with was a critical chance ribbon to activate Tenacious Bond. Since we cover viral with Nourish, we are running a corrosive magnetic and radiation setup. If you don't own a Vergless ribbon and still want to benefit from this setup, Burst Laser Prime is an alternative. You can even put the Auger mods on the Burst Laser Prime instead of your secondary. Now, bow to the queen. I hope you see now why Jade can literally offer you everything you need in a Void Cascade. Let me know your favorite combo to run. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments or visit me on Twitch. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay roasted. See you soon.